What is up, guys? We're a little late getting things going, but we are here. We're live, ready to go. We've got kind of a double set of matches tonight. We'll see how much we can get going with, because real life has been all-consuming, so we're going to do our best to get things going and just get coverage going. We've got 2 weeks worth of content to be able to show you guys here tonight, so make sure you guys are sticking with us. We'll see how much we can get through. If we don't get finished, that's okay. We'll do our best to try to play catch up at another later date there, or just upload the VODs without the commentary, which is we've done before and it sucks to do, but sometimes that's how it works with real life stuff. I also have not eaten yet, so I'll be eating in a little bit and might just be muting the stream while I sit there and do that. But let's just kind of jump right into it, get things going, guys. No need to be waiting any longer. So round one for week number 1, we've got Andrew Burns rocking out Amulet Titan, and Zachary Adams going to be playing and piloting Infect this week. Should be a pretty exciting one, as both these players are still getting used to and learning the decks. So this will be a good learning stream for everybody that is trying to pick up those particular decks, so we can kind of go through and break down what the decks are trying to do and kind of the best way to be approaching these matchups with these said decks. So Infect does have a way to kind of burst down the Amulet Titan deck, and it's trying to go really, really fast and kind of get in there and get going and kind of hope for those early wins before they're able to get too many blockers in the way, because if they've got a Sakura Tribe Elder or something like that, or just annoying blockers, Azusa getting in the way, Walking Ballista they could be able to play before things get going with their Amulet Titans, or their Primeval Titans, then it is something that can be challenging. So the Infect player really has to try to navigate and see how much he can burst down before it gets too late into those turn 3, things like that. Oh no, watching while sick. Don't think I can make it tomorrow. Sorry to hear that you're sick. Hopefully you can take the time and rest a lot and start feeling better. It's always the worst. I believe you're on camera at least twice since we have 2 weeks worth. So Blighted Agent is a big problem. Exactly. Blighted Agent being able to have unblockable creatures annoying. Inkmoth can be a little bit challenging pre-board. Once you have sideboard stuff like being able to get a bunch of Death Touch creatures, can be a little bit tough to kind of fight through as an Inkmoth player there. But we're going to have to see how things go. It does appear that Zachary is on the Mishra's Bauble plan for his version of Infect. So we're going to have to keep an eye peeled to see how effective and how much he enjoys that sort of style of playing for his list. So when an Infect player opens up with an Inkmoth Nexus like this, that's giving indication that I don't have a turn 1 Glistener Elf or a turn 1 Noble Hierarch. I might have a Blighted Agent in my hand, but the way it's working out is I'm planning to poke you with my Inkmoth Nexus next turn, assuming nothing else lines up, right? But he did get that peek at Andrews and saw that there wasn't a Azusa on top. So when it comes to an Amulet player, they are really kind of not doing too much in that first turn or so, right? The first turn is just sort of, hey, if I don't have an Amulet, it's just sort of a kind of setup phase. I'll use maybe an Ancient Stirrings or something like that to kind of find, hopefully, an Amulet, or if not, another land that might be beneficial. So we do see Amulet, or we do see that the Ancient Stirrings here, Andrew's going to be taking a peek at his hand, kind of determine the best card to picking up. Bajuka Bog. So he goes, okay, you're on this bauble plan. You're trying to fill up your graveyard to make your Become Immense better. Maybe this will be where I want to be. Alright. Fetch land. You see another bauble and another ink moth here. Fetch. Shock. But he might just go to 19. I'm not sure how Zach wants to play his turn here. But I like the fetch shock personally. And yep, he brings that breeding pool up to the top. And we'll see him activate. I don't think we had any way to deal more than one this turn. I don't remember seeing any mutagenic growths or anything like that. Yep, just one and pass. Alright, so Andrew is really shooting for that ability to get that Azusa online. So it's okay, how fast of a land can I get going out here? So, ooh, Engineered Explosive's pretty nice. Now, the engineered on one is basically saying elves, nobles, things like that, I want to be able to take out. It's also setting things up because with Zach kind of poking him to death with this ink moth, it's a little bit of a slower burn here. So we do see the activation. It looks like he's got a might in hand, so that's kind of where he should be going. But looks like just playing more conservative says, I'll poke you for 2. But I definitely think the might plan is the right plan here. You know, saying here's 5 damage, already puts him to 6, and that's a much quicker clock instead of just the, oh, I've got all this extra damage here. Especially when you see your opponent is tapped out. The engineered you don't have to worry about. So I think that is the better line than the conservative route here. I'm all about the conservative route, though. I like the just kind of poke, but when you have those open windows like that to kind of just jump through, that's the time to be deploying those pump spells. Alright, so this relic here allows him to tap for mana, and he can put charge counters on it and gain mana that way. So he's got 1 mana to work with, but based on the hand, he still has enough to kind of make something happen. Yeah, ignores Blood Moon, natural ramp, it's really good. Yeah, I could see how that could be a really powerful, especially with people kind of experimenting with Blood Moon and stuff like that a little bit more. Alright, we did see the fetch. Next, going to go to 16. So he's also building up for like a Become Immense, it looks like, with the way his hand is crafting here. Here's our activation. Interesting. Pendelhaven. +4. Here's 6 coming at you. That'll put you to 1. Well, I say 1. He gets to 9 poison. Alright. Put a charge counter on there. Let's use that mana. 1, 2. 3, 4, 5, 6. Here's our Primeval Titan. Let me go find 2 lands. Ghost Quarter. It looks like might be a second land. He also got ability to copy and now has a copy of Ink Moth. Thank you. Vasuva, thank you. Alright, so now we have another Ink Moth, which you want to use that other Ink Moth to activate so you have more green mana to work with here. I like this. Andrew's in chat saying, here I'm just hoping that he forgets to attack. But he does not. And Zach will take game 1. So Zach piloting it pretty well with his kind of build up there. A couple of things like just deploying more of his pumps when the shields are down and not relying as much on the Pendelhaven. Little things like that. Overall, though, pretty good plays. Andrew just doing his best to try to kind of navigate through game 1 there, hoping so he can get to sideboard and get a couple more threats or removal, things like that he can be able to bring in and help him out a little bit more. Alright guys, I'm muting the stream for just a short period here so I can eat a little bit. I'll be hopping back in and out throughout. So if you hear nothing, that is why. Alright, I do gotta make a note here. Based on some of the cards that I saw in Zach's sideboard there. Distortion Strike and Apostle's Blessing are reasonable cards to have in this matchup because of the fact that there can be blockers and things like that in the way. So I like those coming in. And you can adjust some of your numbers on some of your protection spells like Blossoming, Defense, to be able to make room for things like Apostle's Blessing, because it can serve both as a ability to make your creatures unblockable as well as protection. But both players are getting ready to go, so we'll do our best to try to commentate while eating at the same time. But I am not a fan of the hand Zach has, and I hope he ships it. Yeah, the plant tokens, the O1s that can come out, can be really annoying because it just sort of gums up the board, and you're just like, ugh, this is so annoying, especially when you can keep bouncing this and replaying this land all the time. Alright, we're already going to be seeing a very different game between Game 1 and Game 2. So, the games that the Amulet Titan players actually have Amulet of Vigor out are so much faster and so much more powerful of matchups, in particular with the way that it can just have lands generate a lot more mana much quicker. So we're going to be seeing things a lot different here for game number 2. And actually, let me adjust our numbers because he's not at 16. Alright, we already got a blocker in the way. Alright, Bladed Agent. Unblockable is pretty nice. Having that Ghost Quarter is also very nice for Andrew. Ugh. Azusa. Let's play a bunch of lands, shall we? There's the path. Go find a land if you'd like. So things are a little challenging here because Zach has to be careful how he like commits with his Ink Moth, knowing that there's a Ghost Quarter across the field. But if he doesn't have any protection, he might as well just commit and push as much damage as he can right now. There's Might giving him +4. Use the mutagenic. Don't. Oh, does he have another pump? Oh, I'm going to be so upset if he has another pump. There's 9 again. So he paid 2 life for one of them and didn't for the other. Okay, he doesn't. Alright, he's got 2 lands. Okay. So conserving his life total a little bit there. Nothing wrong with that. Forest plus Dryad Arbor. Ghost Quarter. Got any more basics in there? Shouldn't. Most lists are running 2 to 3 basic forests. I think running 3 is kind of the right number right now based on the amount of Ghost Quarters and things like that, Path and Field of Ruins. So running more basics is actually beneficial. Look at that sweet plant token there. Bulbasaur coming out. This is 0-1 plant. Noble Hire. Nice, Ovi. I think he attacked for 2 more again. We're just going to assume 10 to 12. Azusa is a 1-2, so he can swing that guy in. And if there's, blocks, at least he can kill a Dryad unless there's pumps. We're in this weird stalemated stage for these players where Zach's trying to find threats, like Infect related threats, and Andrew's trying to find his big threats, right? He does have at least the Dryad Arbor there, so he could try to start poking in, but it's like this weird situation. I think you need to, I think as long as Andrew's going to attack with Azusa, you might as well attack with that, alright? You'll get the Exalted trigger. But it's this weird thing where Andrew's still at 20 life, so. Alright, looks like we're ready to start tangoing here. Declare blockers. What? He had pump spells. There's an Ink Moth at least. So now Andrew has to find an answer for that. Or get a way to make a bunch of Death Touch flyers, right? That's going to be troublesome. Oh, Walking Ballista for 4. So, he needs more pump spells than there are counters on that, right? That's not bad, using some pump spells that way. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's perfect. He's got enough. He has enough mana. 2 of them are Phyrexian spells. 2 of them are protection spells. You try to commit with the pump spells first. So activate Inkmoth Nexus. Move to combat. He will probably try to sit there and do that. He either has to die because he's at 9. Alright, so you don't even have to commit pumps first to make him respond. Even though you have enough to respond. Combat. Let's try to shoot him, he says. I'd like to try to protect him, he says. Okay, I'd like to try to shoot him. I'd like to try to protect him. I'd like to try to kill him. What? Oh no. Oh no. Andrew was dead. What? Oh, I don't even know, guys. Yeah, everyone's giving question marks in the chat. What? What? I don't. Oh. Did he forget? I don't understand that. He has the Phyrexian mana. He's got the life to pay. What happened? Alright, so what was that? +2? So he took 3? I don't know what happened, guys. I don't know. Oh, and now there's an engineer to get rid of him. Feels bad, guys. Feels bad. My math must be off on his life total, but we'll say he's like at 3 or something. Who knows? I got all flustered and thrown off after that. I don't know. I don't know. I wish I could talk to Zach and ask him and be like, what happened? Help me understand this. We're going to game 3, though. Oh, I bet you he's probably kicking himself, too, if he saw the play or something later on and thought about it. Like, that hurts. Hurts my soul, guys, as an Infect player, seeing something like that. Because that was definitely a 2-0 victory there for Zach. That was a lot of spells. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Like, maybe he didn't understand how the stack worked there or something. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know his read of the situation. Maybe that was what it was, of just like, here, pump. Now that I've used all my counters, this guy goes in the graveyard. Do you think you can't respond to it anymore? Like, I'm not sure. Zach is newer to Modern, and he's newer to Infect. He's learning Infect. So this is definitely one of those situations where you learn, and then you don't make the mistake anymore. Right? It's not going to be an all-the-time thing where you're going to make the same mistakes. You sit there, you practice, you run into situations that you haven't run into before. Maybe that was his first time fighting against Walking Ballista. This hand is a decent hand, actually, that he's got. 3 lands is like, okay. But because he's got the Ink Moth, having the 3 lands is actually pretty nice. He's got a Blighted Agent, and then he's got basically 3 pump spells, one of which is a protection with the vines over there. And keeping his life total healthy, and just says, here's a breeding pool, tapped and pass. What is that one? Ink Moth. Let's play a Blighted Agent and pass. Alright. Kabir Crossroads. Enters battlefield tap. When it enters battlefield, gain 2 life. Okay, just another life gainer. 22. And then there's the Amulet. Trigger. Float 2. Oh, no. An engineered. Okay, you gotta commit here. Dump some pumps. I like the Noble Might swing for 6. You have the Ink Moth follow-up. It does leave you light on protection, though. So that's the other question is, he runs Ghost Quarter and things like that. Do you just say, play Pendelhaven, Might, swing for 5, pass turn, knowing that he's going to commit to blowing that up next turn, and then you have the mana to activate Ink Moth and protect it with the vines. Those are the 2 options, basically, that are the lines at this point. But he needs to get Noble out if he goes all out. If he wants to be more conservative, that's fine. But playing Noble now allows him to be able to... Oh, no, he's not doing any of it. He's just going to poke for 1. So, again, this is what we were talking about game 1, where he's getting used to the deck. He's learning how to do it. But this is Shields are down. Coast's clear. Commit to the pumps here. This is the time to pump. Alright, here's Noble. Azusa. So he gets to play extra lands with Azusa. Blows up Engineered here. Oh no, please don't. No! No! Oh! So, the way that works is it doesn't protect him, right? Engineered. So now I can see why he did that line of play that he did. So Engineered destroys all creatures. It's not a targeted effect. If it was a targeted effect, then Vines would have been able to have protected him. But sadly it wasn't. So again, Zach's learning the deck. He's learning how different cards interact and things like that. So that is that feels bad moment with Engineered there. Right, and that's, I think it happens with everybody, right? Learning these interactions of, okay, how does it work with targeted stuff versus just like saying each and like the weird wordings in some of the modern cards, and just takes some getting used to there. But even though he lost all that, he still has some pump spells and some ability to push for damage this turn. Okay, gonna copy the Ink Moth here. Alright. So let's count how much math we can do here. Activate 1, 2, 3. You do 7 damage this turn. If he wanted to. Which he doesn't have the extra mana right now to activate Ink Moth as a blocker. So I think now's the time. He does have the Distortion Strike, you can commit to that and doing things, but like really it's activate Ink Moth, Distortion Strike, or Pendelhaven it. It doesn't matter either way. I don't mind holding the Distortion Strike right now. Yeah, Pendelhaven. Use Noble to tap. Little nuances, just tapping with Noble when you can, kind of thing. +4, so 4, 5, 6. Exalted Trigger makes it 7. Here's 7. Now, as long as Andrew doesn't get a path, doesn't get a Ghost Quarter, Zach should be lined up to win next turn. We're going to have to see what he was able to draw and how things work. Float some mana. Oh, So I'm really nervous he's gonna play a Primeval Titan here with how he's doing this, and then get a Ghost Quarter. And with the Amulet, Ghost Quarter can be able to enter untapped. So this is gonna be that feels bad moment here. Ooh. No, let's push for damage and then get it. Okay. Did we forget a bounce trigger? Uh-oh. Should be bouncing here. Oh, that prime time. So these are the moments where I'm pitching it for every Infect player out there. Run that Flux Channeler. Run him. Get that in your board. He's where it's at. You're at 8. Oh, you're filling your hand full of a bunch of pump spells. Let him stick and just win. And yeah, people make mistakes here and there. Well, that's part of the stream, is learning, right? We want to figure out how to navigate different situations, right? And learning the ins and outs and remembering triggers and things like that. And that's a big part of it. Now we're getting it all used to, and this is Andrew's first time using the deck, so we might miss a bounce trigger here and there. It happens. It's also Zach's getting used to this deck, getting so used to it that makes a few mistakes here and there, but that's part of it, right? Learning. All right, so really we're just kind of going through the motions here as Zach's trying to navigate through. He's declaring blockers, trying to get things to work, but really it's like, hey, I've got this double strike. I've got the ability to give him, pumps, and it's not going to go well for you. And the hand gets extended, and a little bit of misplays here and there from the players, but overall, a good learning experience for both of them, I feel. Andrew takes the series 2-1 there. So, getting things going again. We are doing our best to try to fly through as many rounds as we can because we kind of have 8 tonight. I don't think we're going to get to all of them, but we started a little bit late. Real life's been kind of all-consuming, so we're going to do our best to navigate the best we can and just kind of keep it short and sweet. But again, if you're watching on Twitch, YouTube, and you like the content, please consider hitting the follow, subscribes, all that kind of good stuff. And let's hop over to round number 2.